Tiffany Henyard, once a rising political figure in Dalton, Illinois, is now at the center of a major scandal. Her career started with big promises to improve the town, but it has turned into a story of financial problems, personal gain, and federal investigations. Henyard was initially well supported by local officials and residents. However, she is now accused of using taxpayer money to fund a lavish lifestyle instead of helping the community. She became mayor after the sudden death of Frank Zuccarelli. Although some questioned her appointment, she won many people over with her ambitious plans for Dalton. She promised new programs for veterans and seniors, and aimed to boost the local economy. By 2021, Henyard had secured her position by winning the mayoral election, and also became the supervisor of Thornton Township. This gave her control over two powerful offices, and increased her salary to about $200,000 a year. However, as her power grew, so did the controversy. People began accusing her of using public money for personal luxuries instead of community needs. Reports surfaced that taxpayer funds meant for essential services were allegedly spent on expensive vacations, designer shopping, and even a $500,000 driveway for her mother's home. As Dalton struggled with a $3.5 million deficit, residents became outraged over what they saw as a misuse of their money. Social media was flooded with angry comments about her financial decisions. Despite public backlash, Henyard kept expanding her power. She secured loyalty from allies and silenced critics. Then, the situation took a dramatic turn when the FBI launched an investigation. Agents raided her home and reportedly found millions of dollars in cash, leading to further suspicions that she had stolen public funds. The investigation also revealed that Henyard had spent over $67,000 on travel in just 5 months, more than what many Dalton residents earned in a year. What started as a business trip to Springfield turned into a luxury getaway, including fancy hotels, expensive meals, and even motorcycle rides, all paid for with taxpayer money. One of the most shocking allegations was her use of public funds to promote herself. Billboards with her face appeared around Dalton, not for election purposes, but as self-promotion, while residents dealt with poor municipal services. As Dalton's financial struggles worsened, Henyard's actions sparked outrage. One of the biggest scandals involved the Henyard Care Foundation, a breast cancer charity she founded. What seemed like a noble cause soon came under investigation, raising even more concerns about how she handled money. Foundation was being used to fund Henyard's lavish lifestyle. Donations that were meant to help the community were allegedly redirected into personal indulgences, such as luxury vacations and designer clothes. Some reports even claimed that the foundation's funds were used to pay for a $500,000 driveway for Henyard's mother's home. Public anger reached a breaking point as Tiffany Henyard's financial mismanagement became even clearer as more details emerged. In addition to expensive vacations and self-promotion campaigns, she allegedly used taxpayer money to create promotional materials like t-shirts and hoodies, which she then sold for personal profit. Despite being questioned about these expenses, Henyard refused to provide clear answers, making many believe she was abusing her position for personal gain. As the scandal grew, Dalton's financial crisis worsened. Public services declined, roads remained in poor condition, and the town's debt continued to rise. Many residents who once had faith in Henyard's leadership became deeply disappointed. Her extravagant lifestyle became a symbol of the town's struggles, highlighting the growing disconnect between her actions and the needs of the community. Critics argue that Henyard's case is an example of how unchecked power can lead to corruption. Instead of focusing on Dalton's economic recovery, she allegedly prioritized personal luxury, leaving the town in financial distress. While the FBI continued its investigation, rumors spread that some of Henyard's closest allies were beginning to distance themselves from her, some even cooperating with investigators to protect themselves from legal trouble. Despite the serious allegations, Henyard has denied any wrongdoing, calling the accusations politically motivated attacks designed to ruin her reputation. She tried to defend herself on social media, posting vague messages about unity and resilience. However, her efforts failed to regain public trust, and calls for her resignation grew louder as more details about her spending habits surfaced. What started as a promising political career has unraveled into a scandal marked by allegations of greed, betrayal, and mismanagement. Instead of being remembered for revitalizing Dalton, Henyard's legacy may be defined by corruption and financial collapse. Her case serves as a warning about the dangers of consolidating too much power in one person's hands and the importance of holding public officials accountable. As the federal investigation continues, Dalton residents are left wondering just how deep the corruption goes. While Henyard remains defiant, her credibility appears to be beyond repair, and her grip on power is slipping. The town now faces an uncertain future, struggling to recover from a leadership that promised change but instead. Most glaring examples of Henyard's misuse of public funds was her extravagant spending on a personal security team, which reportedly cost the town over $1 million. This security detail, more appropriate for a high-ranking politician or celebrity, was deployed 24/7. Even during her trips, these unnecessary expenses only worsened Dalton's already struggling budget. Overtime payments for security staff became a point of contention, with one security officer allegedly earning $113,000 for 303 hours of work over just 2 weeks, raising suspicions of time inflation and corruption. This level of spending stood in stark contrast to the daily struggles of Dalton's residents, who watched in frustration as their tax dollars were drained to support Henyard's luxurious lifestyle. Herself glorification reached new heights, with taxpayer money being used to put up billboards featuring her face around the town in a community already burdened by financial instability. This act was seen as not only ethically questionable but also tone-deaf. While Dalton's debt continued to rise, Henyard appeared unaffected by the financial collapse she had caused, living as if the town's problems didn't concern her. Henyard's leadership quickly earned a reputation for being driven by ego and retaliation. Anyone who dared challenge her authority reportedly faced swift retribution. Employees and local businesses that refused to comply with her demands allegedly suffered consequences, such as wrongful termination or having their business licenses revoked. One notable case involved Boeing Thrash, a longtime employee of Thornton Township, who claimed he was fired after refusing to cooperate with Henyard's schemes. Thrash alleged that Henyard had offered him a $100,000 raise in exchange for replacing an attorney with someone preferred by her assistant. When he declined, he was promptly dismissed. This added fuel to the growing list of legal battles against Henyard. This pattern of retaliation extended to political allies as well. Carmen Carlalel, a former trustee and one-time ally of Henyard, became a whistleblower, publicly criticizing her leadership and exposing a culture of intimidation. Carroll's allegations were supported by claims of harassment, including reports that Henyard used police resources to intimidate critics, even sending officers to their homes to silence dissent. This abuse of power further eroded public trust in Henyard's administration, creating an atmosphere where residents and employees feared speaking out against her. The most shocking retaliation claims came from a former assistant who alleged that Henyard's actions went beyond ordinary political manipulation, revealing a deeper pattern of coercion and misconduct. P. Dukes, a former employee, filed a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment during a taxpayer-funded trip. Dukes claims that after reporting the incident, she was placed on unpaid medical leave, further highlighting the toxic and abusive culture within Henyard's administration. These lawsuits and allegations have painted a disturbing picture of a leader more focused on consolidating power and personal gain than serving her community. As the lawsuits continue to pile up, the cloud of controversy surrounding Henyard's administration has grown darker. Her alleged lavish spending, retaliatory tactics, and abuse of power have left Dalton in financial ruin. The town, already facing significant debt, now finds itself dealing with a $2 million deficit, unpaid debts for essential services like street paving and tree trimming, and a lack of proper oversight. Dalton has operated without an annual audit since 2021, leaving its financial situation in disarray. Reports have also linked Henyard to a $3 million scandal involving blank checks, a 21% increase in police department expenses, and a staggering $65 million deficit in the general fund. Henyard has attempted to deflect blame onto others, particularly her former right-hand man Keith Freeman, who has been charged with bankruptcy fraud and is rumored to be cooperating with investigators. Despite these efforts, the evidence against Henyard continues to mount, making it increasingly difficult for her to maintain any semblance of credibility. Henyard's political legacy, once thought to be one of progress and revitalization, is now rapidly crumbling. What was once seen as bold leadership has been exposed as a story of unchecked ambition, financial mismanagement and personal corruption. Despite mounting evidence and growing public outrage, Henyard has continued to dismiss the backlash, framing it as the result of the pressures of public life. However, her actions suggest a much darker story, one where her ambition and ego took precedence over the needs of the community. As federal investigations into Henyard's spending and governing practices continue, it remains to be seen whether she will be able to salvage any part of her tarnished. Tiffany Henyard's refusal to step down has only widened the gap between her and the people of Dalton. As the town struggles with financial turmoil, residents are searching for accountability and a way forward after her chaotic leadership. Her time as mayor now serves as a warning about the dangers of unchecked power, corruption, and the loss of public trust. What started as a hopeful administration has unraveled into allegations of ethical violations, retaliation, and abuse of power. Dalton faces a long road to recovery. Henyard's legacy will likely be one of broken promises, financial instability, and deep distrust in local government, something the town will not soon forget. As investigations continue, more details about her alleged misconduct may still come to light. But one thing is certain: the damage to Dalton's finances and reputation will last long after she fades from the political spotlight. Once seen as a leader with bold ambitions, Henyard's tenure has now become a cautionary tale of corruption and reckless spending. Her administration has been exposed for extravagant, taxpayer-funded trips, excessive security costs, and the misuse of public funds for personal luxuries. Reports of skyrocketing police department expenses have only added to public frustration, especially as many residents struggle to make ends meet. These lavish expenditures have come to symbolize the growing disconnect between Henyard's leadership and the community's needs. Critics accuse Henyard of treating Dalton as a personal empire rather than a community she was elected to serve. Workers were allegedly pressured into spying on political opponents and gathering damaging information on those who questioned her authority. These intimidation tactics have further eroded public trust, with residents demanding transparency and accountability, calls that have so far been ignored. Amid mounting scandals, Henyard has refused to take responsibility, dismissing allegations as politically motivated attacks. She has even claimed she is being unfairly targeted because of her gender, a defense many see as weak and self-serving. Her unwillingness to acknowledge her role in Dalton's financial crisis has left the town disillusioned, while its economic problems continue to grow. The controversy took a darker turn when the FBI launched a full investigation into Henyard's financial dealings. A search of her home uncovered large amounts of hidden cash, raising serious concerns about where the money came from. Federal investigators are now reviewing her financial records, business filings, and the operations of her questionable charity. Potential charges, including wire fraud and embezzlement, loom over her as the case unfolds. As calls for her resignation intensify, Henyard continues to downplay the scandal, blaming political enemies and offering vague excuses. However, the mounting evidence against her and the financial crisis she has left behind has made it increasingly clear that Dalton needs new leadership to rebuild trust and stability. Tiffany Henyard's time in office appears to be coming to an end as state funds are frozen and Dalton faces a massive financial crisis. With a growing deficit, the town is struggling to maintain essential services like street repairs and tree trimming. The absence of an annual financial audit since 2021 has only worsened the situation, leaving Dalton in financial disarray. Despite mounting evidence of mismanagement, Henyard has refused to take responsibility, deepening the town's economic troubles. Many residents believe that if she had been held accountable earlier, Dalton could have avoided this downward spiral. Instead, her leadership has been marked by allegations of retaliation against those who challenged her authority. Former employees, political opponents, and business owners who refused to comply with her demands reportedly faced harsh consequences. One high-profile case involves Boeing Thrash, a former Thornton Township employee who claims he was fired after rejecting Henyard's attempt to replace an attorney with someone of her choosing. This is just one of several legal battles she faces, including lawsuits for wrongful termination, harassment, and retaliation. Even more concerning are reports that Henyard misused police resources to intimidate her critics. Some residents claim that officers were sent to their homes as a scare tactic, creating an atmosphere of fear and suppressing dissent. These actions have further damaged public trust, reinforcing the view that Henyard prioritized maintaining power over serving her constituents. As the FBI's investigation deepens, more people in Henyard's inner circle are facing legal trouble. Keith Freeman, her former right-hand man, has been charged with bankruptcy fraud. There are rumors that he is cooperating with investigators, which could further implicate Henyard in financial misconduct. The unfolding revelations paint a bleak picture of an administration plagued by corruption and mismanagement. Dalton's future now hangs in the balance. Residents are demanding a complete overhaul of the town's leadership to restore financial stability and accountability. The question remains, who will step up to lead Dalton out of this crisis? Henyard's time in office, once full of promise, will likely be remembered as a cautionary tale of unchecked power and personal ambition overriding the public good. The FBI investigation, legal troubles, and freezing of state funds may finally force a turning point for Dalton. The town now faces the urgent task of rebuilding its government with leaders committed to transparency, fiscal responsibility, and ethical leadership, qualities Henyard failed to demonstrate. To recover from the damage caused by her administration, Dalton needs a fresh start. Those responsible for financial mismanagement must be held accountable, and new leadership must focus on restoring trust and stability. The people of Dalton deserve a leader who puts public service above personal gain. As for Henyard, her legacy is already defined: corruption, financial ruin, and a broken relationship with the community she was meant to serve. Her downfall stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked political power and the lasting consequences of failing to prioritize the public good. 1. Dalton's residents are left in limbo, waiting for the outcome of the FBI investigation and hoping for justice. The damage caused by Tiffany Henyard's leadership will take time to repair, and the town faces a long and difficult journey toward financial and political stability. Despite mounting evidence, Henyard continues to deflect blame and dismiss the accusations against her. Her refusal to take responsibility has made the road to accountability even more challenging. However, the people of Dalton are determined to rebuild and restore integrity to their local government. As the investigation unfolds, one thing is clear: Dalton needs new leadership committed to transparency, fiscal responsibility, and ethical governance. The town can no longer afford the consequences of unchecked power and corruption. Moving forward, the focus must be on rebuilding trust, stabilizing finances, and ensuring that public service is about serving the community, not personal gain. For now, Dalton's future remains uncertain, but its residents are ready for change. Whether Henyard accepts responsibility or not, her legacy is already cemented, a cautionary tale of how greed and power can destroy a community. The road ahead may be difficult, but for Dalton, the fight for accountability and a better future has only just begun.